Hello everybody, welcome back to United Minds. In today's video, we're going to be learning all about the real-world applications of percentages such as tips, taxes, discounts, and simple interest. So if you want your knowledge of percentages to go from this to this, stick around at the end of the video.
Firstly, let's find out how to get to the total price with a sales tax. The total price is the original price times 100% plus the percent of the sales tax. Now let's look at an example problem. Question 1. Steve purchases a ticket to see the Minecraft movie. The ticket costs $15, but Steve also has to pay a 20% sales tax. How much does Steve pay in total? Step 1 in this question is to find the key terms. So from this question, we see that the price of the ticket is $15 and he has to pay a 20% sales tax, and it is asking for us to find the total price. And this takes us to step 2. We can solve this problem by finding the total percent of the price that he has to pay. And the total price is equal to 100% of the ticket plus an additional 20% of the ticket for the tax. And this gives us our total percentage of 120%. Step 3. Now that we have the total percentage, we can use that number to get from the price of just a ticket to the price with tax included. First, we need to convert 120% into a decimal. We do this by dividing by 100, and 120 divided by 100 is 1.2. Now that we have this number, since the total is 120% of the ticket price, we can just multiply 1.2 by 15 to give us the total price, which would be $18. So based on this question, the total price that Steve pays plus with the ticket price plus the sales tax is $18. The next concept we will cover is finding the original price given the final price and a discount. The original price is the original divided by 100% minus the discount. Question 2. Speed wants to buy a pair of cleats signed by Ronaldo. However, Speed gets a 35% discount because he is a streamer, so he only has to pay $300. What was the original price of the cleats before the 35% discount? So once again, the first step is to find key terms. From the question, the important information is that there's a 35% discount applied, and in this question, we see that the total price with the discount is $300, and this time it is asking for the original price. Step 2. Set up an equation using the information we just took out of the question. Similar to the last question, 100% of the original price minus the 35% discount is the percent of the original price that is paid. So the equation becomes 100% minus 35% times the original price equals $300. So step 3. All we have to do now is solve the equation we have created. Firstly, 100% minus 35% is 65% or 0.65 as a decimal. So to solve the equation, we can just divide each side by 0.65, which gives us that the original price is equal to 300 divided by 0.65. And this gives us an original price of approximately $461.54. Now, let's find percent error. The formula for percent error is the estimate minus the actual amount, all divided by the actual amount. Question 3. A chef estimates that he pours 500 grams of flour into a mixture to create dough. However, when he measures the amount he actually pours in, he only added 450 grams of flour. What was the percent error in the chef's estimation? Step 1. Find key terms and information we can use from the question. We see that his estimate was 500 grams, but the real amount was only 450 grams, and it is asking for the percent error in the estimation. So step 2. To solve this question, we have to recall the formula for percent error, which is the absolute value of the estimate minus the real value divided by the real value. So step 3. All we have to do is take this formula and replace the values with the information we have in the question. So the percent error in this question is equal to the absolute value of 500 minus 450 divided by 450, which we calculate to be 0.1111. And remember, to convert to a percentage, we have to multiply by 100, which gives us a final percentage error of 11.11%. And with a percent error, there's percent increase. Percent increase is the final minus the initial divided by initial. Now let's look at an example problem. Question 4. Prior to Tom Brady signing with the Bucks, season tickets cost a total of $100. Following signing, the prices went up to $150. What is the percent increase in season ticket cost for the Buccaneers? Step 1. Just like the previous problems, we read the question and choose the important information to focus on. So before signing, prices were $100 and they went up to $150. And this question asks us to use these values to find the percent increase of the price. The second step is to remember the formula for percent increase, which is very similar to the formula for percent error. The formula is final minus initial divided by initial. So step 3, we substitute the values from the problem to find the percent increase. So the percent increase is equal to $150, which is the final price of the tickets, minus $100, which is the initial price, divided by $100. And this gives us 0.5, but as always, to convert to a percent, we have to multiply by 100, which gives us that the prices experienced a 50% increase. Finally, there is calculating interest. Calculating interest is equal to I equals PRT, with P equals the principal, or the initial amount invested, R, which is the interest rate represented as a decimal, and T equals the time the interest is collected over. Now, let's look at our final example question for these concepts. Question 5. John Morant needs to save money in case he gets fined again for celebrations violating NBA policy, so he decides to invest money in a bank that pays 5% interest. He plans to invest $100,000, hoping that the interest will cover a few of his many fines from the NBA. How much interest will Ja earn in 5 years? So step 1. As always, you want to read the question closely and find the important information. So we see that the bank pays 5% interest and the initial investment is $100,000. We are also looking at the amount of interest earned over 5 years. So step 2, write the formula for simple interest. Interest is equal to the principal times the rate times the time. Reminder, the principal is simply the initial investment, the rate is just the interest rate as a decimal, and the time is the amount of years the interest is applied over. Step 3, relate the information in the problem to this formula. So we see that the P value from this question is $100,000, and the rate is 5%, but the formula requires this as a decimal, so we divide 5 by 100, giving us an R value of 0.05. And finally, the T value is 5 years. So now the final step is to substitute these values into the formula and figure out how much interest is earned over this time period. So the interest earned in 5 years is equal to 100,000 times 0.05 times 5, which is equal to $25,000 earned in interest over the 5 years.
In today's video, we've explored how to apply a tax to figure out the final price of an item. We've also figured out how to find the original price based on the final price and a discount. In addition, we've learned some valuable formulas for percent error, percent increase, and also simple interest. So thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed and learned a lot about percentages in the real world, and stay tuned to the next video.